And let's see. Coincidentally, maybe, as there became to be a battle over resources in the early 1900s and on, was it going to be petroleum, wood? You know, chemists were coming up with great stuff. Coal, and making all kinds of byproducts from coal. And there was a strong movement to champion hemp fiber. And they were saying anything you can make out of wood or petroleum, you can make from hemp and grow it from in the great fertility of America. Because America was blessed with lots of fertility and thousands of acres of wild hemp still growing today because it's one of the best weeds in the world. Flax is hard to grow. You know, the aristocratic fiber requires very nice weedless, fertile soil, and it depletes the soil. So flax is very difficult to grow. Hemp is one of the most successful weeds in the world. Now, in the 30s, Henry Ford said he wanted to grow a car from American soil. And I've seen a movie of Henry Ford himself picking up about a 8 or 10 pound digging tool and striking the trunk of a 1938 Ford, and it didn't even dent the trunk, and the thing bounced off, and he was swinging pretty darn hard, and that was comprised largely of hemp oil plastic. One of my fantasies is to go to one of those hemp fields, which are not hard to find, and they're in the bottomlands. It's too wet to farm, but yet becomes dry later on in the year and becomes a hemp jungle. And it looks just like the pictures of the farms where they grow hemp on purpose. The stalks are growing very close together because it's a wild, successful weed, and that's what you want because you don't want branches. You want nice, tall stalks, and that's what's there. And to top are all these tons, literally, of seeds. And if you actually put a value on hemp oil, if you have to go buy hemp seed or hemp oil, that the value of that wild flax acreage, it's like we don't have to grow it on university conditions. There's thousands and thousands of acres of hemp that doesn't contain significant amounts of the drug. It would be a great place to experiment. Now, why hasn't somebody done that? Am I going to have to go do that? I've been threatening that for a few years now. To go in there in the fall when the seeds are ripe and the fiber's nice, and harvest lots of fiber and lots of seeds. And it does two things. It gives us a large base for experimentation, but it also shows how simple it is because it's growing wild. It's the dominant weed. Along the Mississippi River, I went up the east side of the Mississippi River in Illinois on blue highways, if you know what I mean. They're paved, but they're very zigzaggy. There's no fast way. It's bordering field. There's farms between these paved roads and the Mississippi, and that margin of land, which goes for hundreds of miles, very low and very flat and long, is thousands and thousands of acres of hemp. That's all I could see. It was an interesting trip. Now, from the Missouri side, there's more the main highways over there, and it's steeper over there, so you don't get that. But on the Illinois side, for instance, it's thousands of acres, and when I lived in Kansas, it was the same way, just so much of it growing wild. So I know there was some experimentation going on in earlier days. Someone got a special permit to harvest so-called ditchweed, and I don't know what came of it. But now in our more dire times of needing more and more energy, we have perfect resource. We're searching far and wide for what resource can we find, and does anybody mention hemp? No, not very often. It's not in the radar of mainstream America, even now, which it should be. So we're trying to get the word out.